Hello, and welcome to this Spend Part of the Day with Me video, a basic ass cooking holiday special. I would like to invite you to join me as I make carrot cake cupcakes from beginning to end and deliver them to friends in Houston. Alright, so now I'm going to make a carrot cake. It is currently 8:41. I'm going to make some carrot cupcakes to share with a friend who is going to share some savory food with me. And yeah, so let's get started. Again, this video is super casual, so it's not like everything's perfect, but in my other videos, is anything ever perfect? So why did I just say that? Because I am going to share this food with someone else. In none of the other videos that I've ever made did I actually end up sharing the food with someone else. So because of that, I'm going to wear, when I bake things to give to people, I usually wear some type of hat or head something on my head. And because coronavirus is going on right now, I'm actually also going to put on a mask. I have my fresh pack of masks, and I'm going to take one out. And I've already washed my hands too. Of course, this is very difficult to do when I'm filming myself do it. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put on my mask. I have everything, I think, out. Okay. So I'm probably going to just start shouting right now because I'll have no idea if I'm being too loud or not. Okay, so this is gonna be weird to shoot a video in a mask. I already feel strange, but I do want to make sure that I'm taking every precaution that I can, since again this will be eaten by people that's not me. I don't want to spread germs. So let's start with what we'll need to make a carrot cake. Okay, so I think I mentioned that I'm making cupcakes. So you'll need a cupcake pan or some type of little pan if you want to make it into cupcakes. If not, you can make carrot cake as like, you know, a sheet cake. I'm going to actually turn on my oven right now to 350 so it can start kind of getting hot while I go through all of this stuff. So you need a lot of stuff. I'm going to use this recipe. I don't know what website it's from, but I'll try to find out and add the link in the video description. But as you can see, you need a lot of stuff. So you need carrots, of course, and the grater or some way to, you know, make your carrots be small. And excuse my voice in the morning, I'm not really warmed up. This is cinnamon, so you'll need cinnamon, nutmeg, butter, cream cheese for the frosting, salt, cream is also for the frosting, yogurt goes in the cake, vanilla, brown sugar, pecans. I also have some walnuts, I might throw those in there, eggs. These are the little kind of holiday themed liners I'm going to use. They're so cute. Some vegetable oil. This is your baking soda, a bowl, a measuring cup, and I keep my flour and my sugar in these airtight container things. Super cute. But this is flour and this is sugar. And then you'll also need some confectioner sugar for your, for your frosting. Yes. Okay, so the worst of it is to grate the carrots, in my opinion. So I'm going to start by doing that. Oh, and I'm also going to make, even though I'm going to make just a few, I'm only going to make like, I don't know how many exactly, but maybe 8 cupcakes. I'm also going to make them in my mixer just so I can play with my mixer today because it makes me happy. I love this mixer. And this is my KitchenAid mixer. So I will start with grating the carrots. Okay, so I'm going to make I'm going to half this recipe. So the recipe calls for 2 cups of finely grated carrots. So I'm just going to grate 1 cup, obviously. I don't know how many carrots that would be. I'm going to guess maybe 3. We'll see. So I'm going to rinse these right quick. Okay, so I have my rinsed carrots. And I'm going to peel them first. Okay, so I have all of my peeled carrots. So now I'm going to grate them. I feel like this is going to be a lot of trouble, but we'll see. I'm going to use the smaller side. And I'm going to start, I also cut the end off. So I'm going to start. Oh, it's not too big. Okay. So I'm going to grate all of the carrots. It will probably take at least 5 minutes and I'll be back. Okay, I lied. I started to grate, let me show you. I started to grate this carrot and after like 2 minutes, I'd only made this much progress. So I'm going to put them in this food processor and I'll see if this will work out. I don't really want to be here all day grating carrots on Thanksgiving or any other day. So I'm going to cross my fingers. I'm going to chop these up. I'm also very afraid of scraping my hand on this, and the anxiety was just getting the best of me. So, fingers crossed that this will at least kind of work. They might not look like the finely grated ones, but when it's covered in sugar, maybe it'll all be okay. So let's see. Oh, that worked like way better. I feel silly for judging myself for using the machine, but so this is the carrot from the food processor. And then this is what it looks like if you grate it by hand. So if you have lots of time and patience and courage, mostly courage, because I have a little bit of time, but I was very, very afraid of hurting my hand on this. So I'm going to that turned out good. So let's measure. So we need about 1 cup. If we have more than a cup, maybe that'll be nice too. only bad thing about using the food processor is now there's quite a bit of stuff to wash, but that's all right. I feel like it'll take less time to wash these parts than it would have taken me to grate the carrot by hand. So good. So we have a little over a cup of the grated carrots, so that worked out perfectly. Okay, now we're ready to do the cake. So we're going, so it says we need to beat the brown sugar and oil together. So we need a half a cup of brown sugar and about a third of a cup of vegetable oil. Like I said, I'm making this in half, so I'm kind of estimating a little bit with making exactly a half. So, and it always turns out fine, so don't worry. A half a cup of brown sugar, so let's get our half cup measure. And our brown sugar. If you are making something for the holidays, or if you made something for Thanksgiving, make sure to comment below and let me know what you made. In my family, my job is really desserts, so this is kind of like fun for me. So this is my half cup of light brown sugar, and I have my paddle attachment here, and I have the kind with the little scraper on the side. It makes it easier to make sure everything is mixed up well. And we need about a third of a cup of vegetable oil. So we have our wet measure, and then of course this is for dry, but we're going to have our third of a cup. Does this thing not have a third cup measure on it? Hold on, I have another one right here. Okay, a third of a cup, so not very much. Let's see if you can. Okay. Okay, so the sugar and oil has been mixed together. The next thing I need is half of a quarter of a cup, so just really a little bit of Greek yogurt. So I have my quarter cup measure here, and this is similar to Greek yogurt. This is what I already had, so this is what I'm going to use. And since you only need a little bit, I'm just going to spoon it out. That looks like that's probably, maybe I don't need to make this dirty. I think I'm just going to, what do you think? That looks like about half of a quarter. It's just such a little bit. So I'm going to cross my fingers and eyeball it. You really get to challenge your math skills when you are trying to make smaller versions of recipes. So now I'm going to beat this in. So this is the yogurt. Okay, so our recipe calls for 3 large eggs, and I can't do 1.5 eggs, so I'm going to round up to 2 eggs. And like I said, I've done this before. It works out fine. So it's good to just add your eggs one at a time and let it beat in. Why am I trying to talk over this thing? It's so loud. Okay, so those are our eggs. Okay, and so now we're going to put in our vanilla. I hope this is not focusing. That doesn't work either. But hopefully you can see this is very good vanilla. And since these will be shared with a friend, I'm going to use the best vanilla that I have. I can't open it though. Okay, so we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And now we're going to do the dry part, which is the flour. And the other stuff that goes in the flour. Okay, so we're ready for our dry ingredients, and then we'll get to all, combine it all in here. So we need flour, baking soda, cinnamon, nutmeg, and salt. So for flour, we need, how much flour? 1 cup. So we need 1 cup of flour. So this is a 1/2 cup measure. Woo. 1, 2. And then we need baking soda. So I have my baking soda here. And how much of this do we need? We need 1/2 teaspoon. So, oh, this is wet, so I'm going to get a dry one. Okay. Let's see. So we need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Always be careful if it says baking soda or powder. But this one says soda. So there is that. And we need 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So I have my cinnamon here from Wally World. Okay. And we need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Oh wait, nutmeg is first. So it calls for 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. So we need just a teeny little bit. Oh, I actually have 1/8 teaspoon. How fun. So 1/2 is 1/8. So we need 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and then that'll be all of our dry ingredients. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to take my whisk and whisk it all together. And I'm going to get ready to incorporate the dry into the wet, and then put in the carrots and the nuts. As you can see, I'm just adding a little bit of the flour at a time to make sure that it has time to get wet and incorporated. So you don't want to dump your flour into your wet ingredients just all at once. So just go very slowly, like you see me doing. It's worth the extra time. All right, so now we're going to add our carrots and our nuts. I forgot to measure out the nuts, but we need, let's see, 3/4, so about 1/3 of a cup of nuts. And we have our whole cup of carrots here. How pretty. So I'm just gonna do it slowly, and I'm gonna do it on stir. If you have one of these, because the directions say to manually do it, but I found that if you don't want to, you don't really have to manually do it if you put the mixer on low, on super low. If your mixer doesn't have a very low setting like this one, then just do it manually. So I'm going to put in a little bit of the carrots. It also helps to not just dump it all in at once. Again, I think this is going to be, I like the texture. I think it's going to be nice. Guard your ears with this video. This is a loud one. Okay, so as this is stirring, I'm going to measure out my pecans. And I buy these pre-chopped ones, or you can just chop them up. My mom actually gets whole pecans and chops them literally piece by piece until they're like this perfect size that she likes. I really admire her dedication to precision. But for me, I'm gonna say I'm a little bit lazier than her. So I'm going to use the pre-chopped ones. So we have our nuts. Okay. That doesn't look like enough. Maybe we need a little bit more, right? If you add a little bit extra nuts, it won't really hurt the cake. Don't add extra flour or eggs and stuff, but nuts is okay. All right. We want to feel luxurious when we eat this cake. All right. So now all I'm going to do is just spatula everything down. So these little bitty bits of flour and stuff can just knock it off. And then the last step, no matter if you make it by hand or in a mixer, or especially if you make it in a mixer, your last step should always be to manually stir it, and stir it at the bottom to make sure everything is incorporated. So as you can see, I'm stirring all the way at the bottom. Okay. So now we have our cupcake batter. So I'll get ready to put the batter into the cupcake tins. Okay, so I have my ice cream scoop to make it a little easier to make them all even. And I'm just going to take a little scoop and fill the tins. Let's see if that's a little better. And I don't know, I think this might make several more than I was guessing. I'm trying to be careful to just get the batter into the little cups and not on the baking tin. It doesn't hurt the baking tin, but I just don't like to have to scrub too much, so that's why I try to be careful. Oh, I'm going to be able to make more than I thought, I think. so I will finish doing this. I am almost out of space on my memory card, so I'm going to put these in the oven and bake them, and I'll be back. Okay, so now we're going to make our frosting. So I'm using the same bowl and the same whip thing, but I just washed it obviously. So for the cream cheese frosting, I'm actually going to make almost the full amount of frosting because I like a lot of frosting. So we need 8 ounces of cream cheese. So I have just like 7 ounces, so it'll be like just a teeny bit less than 8 ounces. A half a cup of unsalted butter, 2 or so cups of confectioner's sugar, 2 tablespoons of heavy cream, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and an eighth of a teaspoon of salt. So basically, to make the frosting, all you have to do is just combine everything and beat it together. So it's pretty simple. So let's start with our cream cheese. So the first thing to do is to beat the cream cheese and the butter together until they're combined. And my cream cheese has been out at this point since about 8 o'clock, so about 3 hours, and it's really nice and soft, so that's important. So that's my 8 ounces of cream cheese, a little less than 8 ounces. And then I have my half of a cup, which is 8 tablespoons of butter. I don't know if this is focusing, but whatever. Alrighty, so we're gonna just put all of this in here and beat it up. I just received a call from my uncle, and I am very happy that he called me. Just happy to hear from a family member today. It can be really tough to spend the holidays alone. And so I'm just really thankful right now that he called me. I'm very happy to have heard from him. So anyway, so I'm going to now beat this up. And you can beat this at a pretty high speed. Okay, so when I make frosting, I do like to kind of stop and scrape it down, scrape it all together. So I'm going to beat it a little bit more. Okay, so we are done beating the cream cheese mixture. Hope you can see that. You can see that I actually beat it until it's like white again. So no traces of yellow from the butter. The next thing I'm going to do is add the 2 cups of powdered sugar. So just like with the cake, you don't want to add all of your sugar at once. You're going to add it a little bit at a time. So I have my powdered sugar here. It's like off camera a little bit. But so I'm going to do like about a half a cup at a time. And make sure to use powdered sugar. Don't use granulated sugar, like don't use regular sugar because it won't melt. It won't like dissolve into the frosting. So it's important to use the confectioner's sugar. So at this point, I have added 1.5 cups of the powdered sugar. I'm going to scrape off my beater. Okay. And I'm going to add the cream. So this recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. And I think it's okay to add this at the same time. So there's my 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. And I'm also going to need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So actually, I'm not going to use the liquid. Let me grab this other kind. So you can also, so there's liquid like this kind, but this same brand, they also make paste. So this is vanilla bean paste. And I like to use the vanilla bean paste in frostings because you can see the actual little bits of vanilla bean. So let's see, you need 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to pour it out so you can see it. And I just like, so in a white frosting where you could actually see the little flecks of vanilla bean, I think it'll be really pretty. So actually, I'm not going to stick that in there. I'm going to just pour this. So you can see it's like literally like a jelly kind of consistency. Okay. So that's 1 teaspoon. You can see it. It's very delightful. And this stuff is kind of pricey, so I use it pretty sparingly. But just, you know, like I said, if it's a white icing where you could actually see the vanilla bean flakes, where, you know, would kind of add to the visual appearance, the visual, what is the word I'm looking for? Good grief. It would add to if it looks pretty or not, the aesthetic, okay? Then, you know, you can use this vanilla bean paste stuff. If you're very wealthy, then you could just use this as your vanilla in everything you make, but this little bottle was $20. So I'm not wealthy yet, but in the future when I'm a YouTube star, I'll probably just treat everybody to vanilla bean paste all the time. So it's about $20 for 4 ounces. You can buy it at Sur La Table or probably other places, but that's where I bought mine. And so because it's so expensive, I'm actually going to scoop it out with my finger just to make sure I get all of it. And the other thing I wanted to show you was how to not get powdered sugar everywhere. So this is probably my last half of a cup. So with your powdered sugar, it's okay, you know, you can dump it in if it's just like half a cup increments you're putting it in. But the way you not, you know, get it everywhere is just to start it on slow. So on this machine it's called stir, but just use whatever the lowest setting is. So you start it on stir, and then as you see that most of the powdered sugar has been incorporated, then you want to turn it up high and let it beat. You can't really overbeat frosting because there's no flour in it, so you can't make it like tough or activate gluten or anything like that. Like you can overbeat a cake. With the frosting, you can't really overbeat it. So I'm going to turn this up and beat it hard and fast for a little while until there's a lot of air incorporated into the frosting. Alright, so I've beat the frosting, and this is the consistency. So it's thick. I actually think it's thick enough. I was going to say that I was going to add the other half a cup of sugar. I don't like overly sweet frosting though, but the consistency needs to be kind of thick enough to go through a piping bag. This is the tip that I'm going to use with the piping bag. So the frosting has to be thick enough to go through this and then stay like in place on top of the cupcake. So I was going to add some more sugar, but maybe this consistency is fine. I don't want it to be too sweet. So I'm going to add this into the piping bag, and then we'll be ready to frost our cupcakes. Okay, so I have my frosting bag. I just have a plastic one, and to use a frosting bag, or you can also use just a freezer bag. Let me show you. Oh, do I have one? Okay. So you can actually use a freezer bag like this and just cut off the tip here and put in your tip. Or if you don't even have a tip, you can just cut a hole like a diagonal across like that and still put your frosting in and use it the same way that I'm going to use this. But today I have a regular piping bag, so I'm going to use it. And if you're wondering why I have all of these things, I actually bake and make cupcakes and things for people. Like I sell it, so that's why I have all these tools. So I'm just going to cut a little bit. So you just make a little snip. This is maybe like an inch or so. You don't want to make it too big because then your tip will fall out. So you put your tip in like this, and I'm kind of squeezing so the tip is secure and the plastic is kind of stretched against the tip. And then, so I like to kind of fold it up. Well, I guess it doesn't matter, but you can kind of twist it or fold it up. It might not stay, but it doesn't really matter. And since I am very clumsy, I use a glass to put the tip in, and then I put the frosting in that way. Like, I am very clumsy and I will get frosting everywhere. So I've learned to just do it this way. I've seen some pastry chefs hold, they can hold the bag. I cannot hold the bag, boo. I will have frosting all up my arms, and it's just not a good look. So I'm gonna save this for later. Even though I'm an adult, sometimes I do like to lick the baking things. So I have my frosting here, and I'm going to stir it from the bottom. The other thing about cream cheese frosting too, maybe this does need more sugar. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Let's put a little bit in here and frost a cupcake and see how it goes. We might need some more sugar to make it stiffer. So the other thing about cream cheese frosting too is if you frost your cupcakes and the frosting kind of seems to flop, like it's melting, just put it in the refrigerator to make it stiff again. So let's see. We're gonna see how this goes. I might add more sugar. So I just put enough in here just for one. And if you're not sure, just do it this way. You know, you don't have to, you can always just add some more sugar to make it stiff. So you twist until you see, like here, the frosting is towards the end of the bag. And so this is one of the, this is the teeny little, oh no. I'm so clumsy. I've already knocked over my scraper. Anyway, so this is my little ugly small cupcake that I'm gonna save for myself. So I'm gonna take my cupcake and just press. You can make whatever design you like. And there's my little cupcake. Very simple. And I do think that the frosting is a little, maybe a little bit too runny, but since it's staying like this, what I'm going to do is frost them and then pop them in the refrigerator, and the butter and cream cheese will get back firm basically, and then so you don't have to add more sugar, which I didn't want to do. So this is what they will look like with this little kind of star tip. So here are the cupcakes that I'm going to take to a friend. So I might drop off cupcakes at 2 or 3 people's houses. So I just put a few. This friend is just her, her mom, and her kid. And then I guess they can have just one more. Okay, so here's my bag full of the frosting. There's actually an air pocket in there that we're gonna see come out at some point. There it goes. So as you frost, you can start in the middle or on the sides. And since this is cream cheese frosting, like I was just mentioning, is getting kind of soft. So just swirl it on there, make it pretty. And then I'm just gonna pop these in the refrigerator. And by the time it's time for me to go meet my friend, they'll be all set up and they'll be pretty. So that's how you make carrot cake cupcakes from beginning to end. So after the cupcakes were finished, I drove to a Walmart parking lot to meet up with a friend to give her some cupcakes. So we met at this Walmart, which was closed, and I was really happy to see that it was closed. I think everybody deserves the day off, as many of us who can be off. And we were actually told by a security guard to leave because we were on private property. We just left because we just wanted to hook up very quickly to exchange cupcakes and turkey. And I noticed how dirty my car was in the last clip, like when I was sitting there. So before I drove to my next friend's house, I just stopped at the car wash and did the automated car wash, which is always so fun to me. And here's the food that I got from my friends. So one friend gave me some stuffing, which it was actually vegan stuffing. That was fun. And I had some corn and I had some cranberry sauce. And one friend gave me some turkey. And then of course I ate one of my own cupcakes. So what did you do? What did you eat? I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Oh, I also had some sweet tea. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, this is the Basic Ass Cooking channel. at the end of the day, I do remember what my channel is called. Like I said, it is the Basic Ass Cooking Channel. Thanks for watching, especially if you've watched this entire video. Thanks so much. I will see you next time. Bye.